We still have participants joining, which is very nice to see, but we already have 50 participants and still joining even more. So this is very, very nice to see that there's so much interest in today's conference. So I would like to welcome everybody here who joined. As I said, it's very nice to see so many of you, and a big and warm welcome to this virtual conference on innovative security technologies and services from Germany, which is part of the export initiative from the Federal Ministry of Economic Affairs and Climate Action in Germany. My name is Dominik Otto. I'm the Deputy CEO of the German Baltic Chamber of Commerce here in Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. And I will lead you through today's conference. So the topic is civil security, and this sector includes technologies from building protection and critical infrastructure security to information security, and also very important nowadays, cybersecurity. So today you are going to have the possibility to get to know about the solutions and products from Germany, of German companies, which will be, I'm pretty sure, very interesting for the public and for the private sector. And you will also have, of course, the possibilities to ask questions and probably even most important, to make new contacts. In general, the market potential of the three Baltic states in the field of civil security is rather broad, even though the markets are compact, as we like to say, but still the range is really wide. And this is not limited only to the pandemic and the related need for civil security, because the pandemic definitely brought this with it. But there are also opportunities in the area of new infrastructure measures or for securing ports and airports. And the big topic, as already mentioned, is also cybersecurity, and here in terms of persons and also on a corporate and public level. And the Baltic states, due to its exposed geographical position of Estonia, of Latvia, and Lithuania, between the Baltic Sea on the one hand, or the one side, and Russia on the other side, and the associated economic and also political implications. This topic has definitely also an impact on other sectors here, like border protection or industry, tourism, maritime economy, and others. So I'm very excited to hear more about this topic during today's conference from our guest speakers, and of course from our German companies who will present their solutions and technologies. But for now, enough from my side. I would like to hand over for some more opening words and introduction to Sabrina Lopp from the Econan GmbH. Econan is organizing this event in collaboration with us, of course. And Sabrina, now the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dominik. Good morning from Hamburg. As Dominik said, my name is Sabrina Lopp, and I'm here for Econan International. We are the organizer of this project, which is, of course, as you have already explained, part of the export initiative. And I would like to say thanks to the Ministry of Economics and Climate Action for funding this project and giving us the opportunity to do this. And big thank you to the German Chamber. It's a very excellent cooperation with you. Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to this conference. And many people maybe have never thought about safety and security as a sector of our economy and are wondering what is part of it. And it's everything, it's all around us. We need to protect people, infrastructure, property, assets, data, information. Everything has to be protected, right? So I'm pretty sure every morning when you walk into your office, and you use your key or your key card, you don't even notice the fire extinguisher on the wall or the sprinkler system over your head, the security cameras. Safety and security is literally all around us. And today we are going to learn some more about some of the portfolio of the German companies and of the vast sector. And I'm pretty sure if you have a need regarding security that is not covered today, there is a German company that can help you with your challenges. And if there is not, I'm pretty sure there's a German company that will be happy to develop some individual solution. We are here today from 4 different countries, but we face the same challenges and the same threats today. And I'm really looking forward to some interesting discussions today. And I'm looking forward to connecting with some of you later on in the networking session. That is a little exciting, but please don't be scared. I think it will be worth it. You will meet some really nice, interesting people, albeit virtually. But I'm really invite all of you to join because I think it will be fun. So I hope to see you there. And until then, I wish all of us a great conference.
Great. Thank you very much, Sabrina, for your kind words. And now I would like to hand over to our CEO from the German Baltic Chamber. I think he needs no further introduction. Florian, please.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, good morning, everybody, also from our side. Sabrina, I love your flags. They're just amazing. I mean, how you managed that. Good morning from Riga this morning. As you know, we are a 3-country chamber, a 3-country AHK, quite unusual. We have office in Tallinn, Riga, and Vilnius. And I basically live half my life in the airplane, going or in the car, going back and forth. We have a super strong team, and which I want to thank and kind of forward the thank from Sabrina, which is since over 25 years here promoting German companies, but we also believe trade and business is not a one-way street, it's a two-way street. So we also equally work with Estonian, Latvian, Lithuanian companies, promoting them towards Germany. And I also would like to put this thought in your head that you see cooperation and mutual cooperation, because I think there's a lot of potential here. You German entrepreneurs, whom I applaud to focus on the sometimes overlooked Baltic states. Yeah, Dominic said they're compact. We could also say they're small, but they're small and they're sometimes a bit hidden, but they're also champions. And especially when it comes to security, the mindset here is security plays a much more important role than in Germany, especially also in the digital dimension. Just 2 facts that illustrate that. Already in 2008, the Cybersecurity Competence Center of whole NATO was established in Tallinn. And one of the biggest hacks or attacks on any government by Russia was done in 2007, also to Estonia, to the e-Estonian infrastructure. It was a DODS attack. They couldn't really break in, but they caused some downtime of the whole system. Lessons learned were implemented. And ever since then, more or less, besides one security gap, which was caused actually by a German company who produced the chips of the ID cards in Estonia happened. But there also the government reacted very fast. Digitally, the Baltic states are between 10 and 20 years ahead of Germany. That you have to keep in mind. And they are also ahead in this cybersecurity thinking. It means the presidents really teach and talk to the population to make them sensitive on how to behave correctly. And that is something, yeah, we also in Germany not really do so much. I can really say that. So because, you know, most of the problems are caused by human error and by human just lack of knowledge maybe, or awareness. But on the other hand, Germany has a lot to offer. We have also highly innovative companies, and we have here companies that are embedded into the industrial engine of Europe, with all the needs for digitalization and for cybersecurity and for catching up. And I think the current war against Ukraine has put some of these topics and our vulnerability and really need to update and be safe and resilient on top priority of the agenda of our decision makers in politics and business. And so I think this delegation comes at the right time. It comes from the right countries together, let's say, which are so nicely illustrated in the back of Sabrina's screen. And we as a chamber are there to support you today, but also tomorrow and in the weeks to come. In the follow-up, we open you the doors. We are there as a partner. Please use us, really use us. And again, we have a strong team and a strong network. And we have a good cooperation also with the embassies. And last but not least, thanks to our ministry, which is kind of the mother of it all, initiating this. And I welcome Birgit Banze here. Thanks for joining from BMWK. Still a bit unusual to say BMWK instead of BMWI, but we'll learn that. And also I noticed there's an English differentiation versus the German name. In German, it's Klimaschutz, and in English, it's climate action. That's an interesting difference. But okay, we are here for action. And with that, I wish you a successful start in the day and the cooperation. All the best, lots of business, lots of contracts, and successful projects from our side. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Florian, for your encouraging words. And you also already mentioned it. I now hand over to Birgit Banze.
I forgot something.
Yes,
I forgot something very important.
Then go ahead.
Okay. I forgot one thing to mention. We have that's hard to see, maybe like this. We have a magazine called Baltic Business Quarterly, and 1 year ago we had the edition about cybersecurity. You find it in the App Store, download it. There's lots of companies and ideas what's going on in the Baltics. Sorry, I just forgot that. My bad. Ciao.
Thank you, Florian. But now really to you, Birgit Banze from the Federal Ministry of Economic Affairs and Climate Action, as Florian stressed. So we are especially glad and thankful to have you with us today. So Ms. Banze, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and a special warm greeting to the representatives of the Baltic security sector. It is a great pleasure to be here today as a representative of the German Federal Ministry for Economic Affairs and Climate Action, and to speak to you on the potential of German-Baltic economic relations in the area of civil security technology. I would like to start by thanking the German Baltic Chambers of Industry and Commerce and EconRN for the very good preparation of this digital event, and welcome you all to our virtual showcase event. In these new and difficult times, preparing this event was unusually challenging, and I'm pleased to see that the throughout and detailed planning and implementation have been worthwhile. And I'm pleased to see all of you, even though it's a pity that we cannot meet in person due to COVID-19. The Baltic states are pioneers of digital transformation. They have made a name for themselves with the fastest internet connections in Europe and comprehensive digitization of public administration. The three countries have stable, attractive framework conditions, EU standards and norms apply everywhere, and there's an open business culture. The geographic location offers an ideal connection to the markets in Scandinavia as well. And this showcase event today is a great opportunity for companies from Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania to explore new business opportunities and to discover potential synergies with the German participants. 7 outstanding German companies with innovative product solutions are taking part in this mission. And this virtual showcase event forms part, as we already heard, of the Economic Affairs and Climate Action Ministry's Market Development Program for SMEs. Our aim is to support small and medium-sized German security firms as they initiate business contacts in Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. The project provides you, the participants in the mission, with the opportunity to enter into conversation with potential clients and business partners. This event is being attended today by representatives of the Baltic security sector, from public authorities, companies, business associations, and offers German security companies a chance to present themselves and to exchange views and network with experts in Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. There will be an opportunity for questions and discussions with the audience, and this will promote professional exchange and the transfer of information between the countries, and I greatly welcome this. Many of our German companies are world market leaders in their field, and many of these companies are SMEs. This means that they're highly flexible and innovative, and that they can quickly respond to new market developments. German security companies have a high level of technical expertise, and they use innovative products, which means that they can offer a large number of different cutting-edge and customized solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm firmly convinced that today's event is a wonderful opportunity for the German security companies represented here to connect with their counterparts. And it is my hope that this networking event and your potential work with and in Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania will give you much inspiration for your work and many useful contacts. For my part, I'm excited to learn more about the civil security technologies made in Germany that will be presented here today. I look forward to an interesting and I'm sure commercially successful virtual event. And I'm of course always at your disposal as a contact at the Federal Ministry for Economic Affairs and Climate Action. I hope that the talks you will have today and over the coming days will be productive and successful. Thank you and have a successful event.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Banse. So this concludes the part of the introduction and the opening words. And now I'm very happy that we have with us Dr. Clemens Gause from the German Association of Safety Technologies in Germany. And Dr. Gause will now give us a short keynote on our today's topic. So Dr. Gause, please, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much. And first of all, I will give you free my PowerPoint. Hope everyone can see something. Is that okay?
Yes, it looks good. If you also would enter full screen, then I think it would be perfect.
Full screen.
Just maybe press F5.
Yeah, it's I will start it here. It takes a little time, but I hope it will work. So, yeah, a warm welcome from my side to you all, and especially to the Baltics. I love the Baltics, and very fine country and very fine and fantastic people. So today my mission is just not stand-up comedy, because times are very difficult at the moment. So what I want to tell you is a little bit about the markets, the market in Germany. I can tell you it's a huge market, so I prepared some slides for you, and maybe also for studying later on. Yeah, a warm welcome from my side, and thank you for the excellent organization and for the opportunity for me to speak a little bit to you and maybe to explain something about the market. Yeah, first a little bit of commercial or a little bit of explanation to our association, what we do or what we think what we do. Sometimes it's a construction. And yeah, we exist nearly 30 years in Germany. We started with jails. So I'm the highest jail representative in Germany. Nobody knows, nobody's interested in jails, but they are a part of a critical infrastructure, and they are very necessary and needed as well. Yeah, our criminal statistics are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. That's good. That's good. But we have jails already in Germany, and we have to keep them, and we have to keep them as well in a good standard. And but we don't even do jails. We do a lot more. Our classic fields are the building technologies for critical infrastructure. For example, public buildings, big public buildings, and in the industries, shopping malls, airports, ports, and so on. It's beginning and starting always with a classical fence, and it's ending with video and with sensors, ground sensors, for example, and high electronics, and with artificial intelligence used for the patterns, searching patterns in the huge masses of data they are producing. This is our fields where we work. We have some know-how in forensics and clinics, for example, for the security, especially in IT forensics and cybersecurity. And one big issue is the barracks of our armies. We wrote the handbook for the army, for building technologies for the army. So if anyone here, anyone is putting a hand on a barrack, for building something, or building up a new sensor, for example, or a video managing system into a barrack, we have written the standard for it. This is what the handbook, or what a handbook includes. And we have some know-how for the security and the safety of Jewish centers. We are working very close with Jewish representatives here in Germany. One issue we have, another one, are drones. It's about air drones, not the drones for ground. It's the air drones we have, but then I can tell you something of our research later on. IT forensics and cybersecurity, I said it already, and we're doing a little bit of science. We are doing research here, but to this issue also later on. And one thing we do good and explain and tell it to the people. This is what we are doing on conferences and fairs. We had last week, we had already our big yearly summit in Kassel. Nearly 300 people were there, and a lot of mayors and local governments came there, and we had a state secretary of interior there the whole day. So there are a lot of interesting issues at the moment that are discussed in Germany. So our year summit has a lot of followers, and it was very, very interesting. And at the end, I'm lobbying in the parliament, in the ministries for laws and standards and so on. Yeah, going to the market. Our market is divided. It's divided in the electronic security and safety market, so-called the Markt der elektronischen Sicherheitstechnik. So this is includes about video systems and management systems for alarm systems, and also a lot of fire safety is in there in the electronics, you can imagine here. The market is about 4.7, nearly 4.7 billion euros. The thing is that these data here are from 2020, unluckily, because the data from 21 are in the discussion and in the research at the moment. So I hope we can publish them in next 2 or 3 weeks. Then we have a bit closer data about the market. We had a kink between 2019 and 2020 because in 2020 we had the pandemic. So there is a kink in there. Our growth was only 1.6%. That was a pity, but not because of loss of business, but because of the loss of projects, because people couldn't go to work in the pandemic, or not so constantly to work. A lot of people had to work from their homes. Home office was the new word. And so some factories had to close partly. And so we have this kink in there, because in the years before, and I think this year as well, we have a growth, still growth about 4 to 5. Sometimes we had years with 7 or 8%. This was normal for this business. It's a very good growing business in Germany, just the electronic market. And when I tell it to the market volume for the physical security technology, so for the fences, for the glasses, for the doors and windows and so on, barriers, it's the same again. It's about, maybe it's a little bit more. It's about 6 to 7 billion euros, I think. We have not this exactly data, because fences and windows, for example, and doors, it's a huge market in Germany for itself. But when you think about the standards, so it is the discussion point is what do you add on, for example, if you add on the higher standards or the lower standards, are they included, for example, yes or not? So this is about the discussion. So, but for your mind, you can say, or we can say, the market is about 6-7 billion euros in total for the physical security technology. So as a conclusion, the whole market with the electronics and the physics is about 10 to 12 billion, about 12 billion euros a year. Yeah, that's about the market. Really, it's a strong growth at the moment. We are discussing a lot of issues. As you can imagine, just open the newspapers, but I can tell you some points about it later on. In the normal years, we have one indicator market about the growing. It's the market of smart home. Smart home is a market of private homes, smart home. And the thing is that people build up these electronic devices in their homes. So they make smart homes, little video sensors and so on. And after a while, they have built it in their homes. They want it in their factories and in the business. I mean, it is a clear wish, but it is not same. It's difficult. It's very difficult. You can imagine that it is a very different thing to handle and to manage maybe 20,000, 25,000 sensors. One sensor costs about 50 cents at the moment, so you can build into a factory thousands of sensors. And so to manage this, you need servers, you need much more software, much higher software, you need people. So you can't compare the smart home and the managing a smart home with your own device, for example, or to manage a whole factory, the security and the safety of a whole factory. You can't manage it with an iPhone, for example. But this is what people often say and think, and because of that, we can make we have a little indication from this smart home market to the requirements we will become in the future in the big B2B market. So our expectations in smart home are about 0.6 billion euros for 22, and till 26 it will decline with a rate of about 10%. So this is really a huge climb up, and the users, they're still, it's a growing market. Yeah, it's about 16.3 million at the moment in Germany, growing, fast growing, and one more interesting point is that the users are young. They are young, 25 to 34 years. So it's really about the future, thinking about the future. It's a future market, and it's a lot of requirements we will have a lot of requirements because from this market, and a lot of the half of the people have an income above average. So this is also very interesting. We have really much more users that have a higher income, better jobs, for example. So this is where the future requirements come from. Yeah. Some more about safety and the safety and security market in Germany. It is divided in the public sector and the private sector. In the public sector, you have you need much longer time. So the service agreements, for example, are longer running. You have the thing of public procurement. In Germany, public procurement is slightly complicated, so it takes about 2 to 3 years to get into public services, to get into a contract with the public sector often. So this is the average, 2 to 3 years. But when you have a contract with the public sector, with the government, for example, it's a long run. It's really a long run. So this is what you need to know. Private sector, I want to say that this is a growing sector because of critical infrastructure. A lot of companies are building in or investing in building technologies in their own security, in their safety. We have at the moment a lot of discussions because of the energy problem, the gas problem, because of the Russian invasion in the Ukraine, and the huge problems we have with Russia at the moment. So, to my mind, the issue of critical infrastructure in the moment in IT security is is climbing up. We're discussing it very much, and the pandemic. We have a pandemic already, but we have it, but well, no one is discussing it anymore. Yeah, and also the discussion about IA and the discussion about climate change, for example, it's a little bit less at the moment. Yeah, what we have, one issue, one problem we have, is to my mind, it's a serious problem. We have skill shortage. We have a lack of engineers, technicians, workers, and we don't have so much students, technical students in the mathematics and nature sciences, for example. So we really people are needed. And because of the war, we have a new situation. We have, our raw materials. We have a lack of raw materials. It's steel and electronics, for example, electronic raw materials. The loss of energy, or the energy problem we have in the industry. I think you know it from the newspapers. I don't have to tell you. And our value chains are dysfunctional at the moment. I can't say anymore. It's dysfunctional, and I'm laughing, but it's not to laugh about it. It's really, we have to cope in the future with much uncertainty, very much more uncertainty than in the pandemics. Yeah, but look forward. Look for research. I think many of you know about it, know a lot about it, about the security research program. We have a huge research program in the European Union. It's a fantastic one. But we have also in Germany a lot of research, and our chancellor last year, he made a big declaration about 5 billion euros until 2025 for research in total, and especially for the security and safety research program. In Germany, it's a special program from the ministry, from the Federal Ministry of Research and Education. We have about 775 million euros. So it's, I think, to my mind, it will grow up till the end of the year. I think 0.3% is not real anymore. I think we will growing up to 0.5%, maybe more. But this is only my personal meaning. This is what I kind of a trend I think I hear at the moment in the discussions in Berlin, in the parliament. Yeah, so it's growing. It's growing, it's growing, it's growing. There are a lot of opportunities in researching, so be aware of it. Look at the home pages, look in German newspapers, for example, about the declarations, and look at the home pages of the ministries in Germany. And it is so that a lot of ministries are doing research. Not only the Ministry of Education and Research, it's the Ministry for Economics, for example, and Technology. They are doing a lot of research, very good research, for example, in AI and in the field of AI. And this is really an interesting and I think, to my mind, very good growing market in the future, and very interesting market in the future. Some examples of our research, what we are doing. I have 1 minute more, or 2 minutes?
Yeah, 2 minutes.
Please. And our current research topics, what we are in our association are about drones. Argus was a well-known drone project about drone detection. Simulo is about the air traffic management. It's about the air police, because it is not already so clear in Germany which organization with security tasks is managing the air traffic with the drone. So it's already in the discussion. There are big discussions at the moment. Who will manage it? Who will manage, for example, the urban sky when we have the flying pizza over our homes? And it's not only about the business for medics or some other things. It's also just the normal postal services and so on. So and we have two other projects, or one existing and more. A-Score was a project in the pandemic about social simulation in the pandemics. And we have one, it's SPELL. SPELL is very interesting because there we are researching about using artificial intelligence in managing in the work with control centers. So this is really very interesting about language, speech, and so on, and some special softwares and looking for patterns and in these structures. So it's a huge one. It's about nearly 20 million euros. This project is a really very huge project in Germany. And last slide, and then you have it. It's a little bit of commercial because we do a lot for younger people. So what we do on the big fair of Interschutz, we have on the 23rd to 20th of June in Hanover this year, we make a hackathon. We invited a lot of hackers, 200 or 250 hackers, young students, young interested people in technology or other nature sciences can come. It's nearly for free. I think for hackers, for young students, there's a special price, about 30 euros. You can stay there for free. It's free food, free pizza, and free Coke, and a lot of party. And you can join the fair the whole days. It's for free. The fair is for free. You can see a lot of technique, fire technique. It's a fireman fair, fire security fair. We are doing which we are doing this hackathon, and we are also waiting for some challenges. And it's about a 40 hours hack. You will get a colorful network, a lot of mayors, state secretary, researchers, a lot of professors from German universities come there. We make expert roundtables so you can connect and do your network there. And it's international. We had last year, we had people from Turkey, we had people from Ireland, from France, from Italy, and Belgium, and so on, Poland. So it's a big hackathon party. So please come and join us and make something for the future of security technology in Germany. So thank you very much for your attention. Are there some questions or not? Feel free.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Gauss. I think we will hold to the questions till the Q&A session, which we'll have in half an hour. But thank you very much for the very interesting insights. I think one thing became clear: there is a huge market potential. It's a future market with young clients. So this is, I think, a very good takeaway. So thank you very much once again, Dr. Gause. And now we will come to the part with our German companies, where they will present their companies and, of course, first and foremost their products. And we will start with Hans Klein from Secure Systems GmbH, and he will tell us a little bit about intelligent supply chain and cargo security. So, Mr. Klein, please, the floor is yours.
Yes, hi everybody. If you want to have video, you have to allow me to have it. Otherwise, I just do without it. No worries.
Okay, Dave, we'll make sure that we'll have the chance to do so, because with video, it's much nicer, of course. Just, I mean, you can maybe start, but we will.
I'm starting, yeah, absolutely. Okay, can you see the full screen?
Yes, looks very good.
Wonderful. Okay, so I'll tell you a bit more about what we do in a minute, but for now, my name is Hans Klein. I'm Chief Commercial Officer of Secure Systems. We are a Munich and Washington, DC and Tokyo-based supply chain intelligence company. We provide this as a service to our customers, and yeah, you wouldn't believe what's happening out there on the container market these days. I personally joined the container industry from a entirely different industry before, and I was surprised how creatively drug cartels are putting stuff into containers where nobody wants them, how much delays are ramping up across the ocean these days, what organizations like big automotive companies do these days to make sure that the chaos on the container market doesn't disrupt their production, how much the cargo is damaged on the way, how wet it gets inside a container, what kind of crazy temperatures are there, and also how much is actually being stolen or tried to be stolen. All this, sometimes you cannot avoid, but you can manage the situation much quicker if you know what's happening in real time. And I'll give you a few examples of how our customers use the technology, and later on I'll show you how it works. So if you imagine you have a delivery to a customer, I don't know, who has a just-in-time production in the automotive industry. First of all, you have to, as a supplier, you need to make sure that the quality and timeliness is secured. Otherwise, you face crazy penalties. What happens often is when a container doesn't make it on the ship, it would be nice to tell the customer, to automotive company, that this unfortunately happened. It might not be even in your responsibility, but the earlier you can raise the point, the better everybody can manage. What you see here is, if you knew 2-3 days after the ship has left, the major, replanning costs and emergency cargo costs could have been avoided. That's what our automotive customers are telling us. Often it takes more than 7 days to actually learn that the container didn't make it on the ship. And then everybody needs to scramble up airplanes to fly over the material. And this is hugely expensive, and nobody actually wants to do that. So in this example, there was that's data from a German automotive company where they transport just-in-time manufacturing goods from Europe to the US. And just by reducing the emergency air cargo costs by a few percent, they can save over 8 million euros per year, or maybe $1 billion per year. And if a supplier, delivering this material can help with, avoiding these costs, definitely putting you in a good position. Same works, of course, the other way around. Another example is more towards security. So we are working with the US Department of Defense, and they are transporting goods from the US mainland to embassies and military installations around the globe. They have, of course, a very high interest in the security level of the cargo. And what we did here, we monitored a container going by train from the East Coast through the US to the West Coast to the port. And we, our monitoring device on the container triggered an intrusion alarm while it was stored in a railway station in Chicago. And in real time, our system informed the customer, the Department of Defense here in this case, and they could react. They could send somebody to the container, inspect the cargo. They came to the conclusion in this case that nothing was stolen because it was just building materials. So they sealed it up again and sent it on. But again, they detected the breach while it was happening. They had a chance to intervene, and they saved a couple of weeks in terms of time to react and time to solve the problem, because otherwise they would have only gotten news that somebody was tampering with the container when it reached the destination. And then they would react, then they would order new materials, and then it takes weeks to get back on schedule. And this way they can do it right away. So what we do is basically all this. We provide the supply chain intelligence to make such quick decisions and react to it. We are fully independent, so we're not linked to any logistics company. We make sure that whoever is our customer has a direct perspective on the container and on the cargo, independent of who is already at the moment actually handling the container. And we make this with any ordinary shipping container. Yeah, it's basically available today. You just need to call us, and tomorrow you have one of those devices and you can start doing it. So what means start doing it? There's two elements to it. One is a device that goes into the container. You see it here, it slides over the left-hand side of the door. You don't need any tools, just slide it over, close the second side of the door, and then activate it with a pin, and off you go. And I need to make sure here that you get that point very clearly. First of all, it's not fixed mounted to the container, so we're only on the container while relevant cargo is in there, and afterwards the container goes its way. And then we go way beyond typical container tracking, right? Tracking is about knowing where the container is with GPS. We have that as well, but we go way beyond that. We also monitor the conditions inside, so we know the temperature, the humidity, the shock levels the cargo is exposed to inside the container. And we also know the security level of the container. So we know if the door is opened, if somebody is trying to break in through a hole in the wall, or if something is moving inside. And as a last level, we can also identify individuals who are interacting with the container. So if you sell something and deliver it in a container, you can give your customer the unique identification pin to open up the container again. And when this is entered, we get information that the pin was used. And then you can prove that your customer has received the shipment, opened the door. You can trigger, insurance risk transfers. You can trigger payments, all these kind of things with this. That's the one part. The second part to it is the data platform. So on our cloud-based platform, you can see all your shipments that are going around the world at the moment. You can set the thresholds for temperature and so on. You can set alerts with geofences, but you can also link the data to your own backend. So if you have a transport management system or any other system that can make use of the data, we can link through an API and make sure that you get it as easy as possible. So to sum it up, two elements: data intelligence and IoT devices on containerized cargo anywhere in the world. We do have cell connectivity, but also Iridium satellite connection. So when there's no mobile phone reception, we still have connection. And we do this independently. And you can call us today, and we'll send you a device tomorrow, and then you're off to a good start. That's
Great.
it.
Yes, perfect. Thank you very much, Mr. Klein. Also perfectly in time. So this is very much appreciated. Also as a good example, maybe for the other speakers.
I have one request,
yes.
Mr. Otto. If you could add my colleague Ina Neukirch to the Q&A round, because I have to run to a doctor's appointment now. But I'll join you back again then afterwards.
Okay. Yes, we will take care of it.
Wonderful. Thanks, everybody.
Great. Thank you very much. And yeah, let's continue then with the next company from Germany and our next speaker, who is Mr. Mark Nikotowski from ISO Technologies GmbH. And he will tell us a little bit more about air traffic control monitors. So are you with us? Yes, I see already the slides. Perfect, then, yeah, please go ahead. Okay, we see your slides, but we don't hear anything from you. Mark. So your slides look perfect.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we hear
Okay,
and see you. Perfect. Okay.
perfect. Yeah, also from my side, thank you for the invitation and having the chance to present today our company. Just as an introduction, ISO Technologies is a small part of the whole big ISO Group corporation, and I could talk about my slides for days and hours, so I try to follow the example to have it in time. Today in the morning, based on the preparation round and on the actual events, I slightly changed my slideshow. However, I will distribute it later on via the project office, and hopefully you will get access. To start with, EISO as an introduction, EISO is a Japanese word, and it stands for visual, for the picture or visual image, and therefore we call our company itself the visual technology company. So our mission, our life is dedicating everything around the image, to capture the image, to transport the image, and to display the image. EISO is a global corporation, and EISO Technologies is part of the global corporation. We are more in 80 countries. Also in the Baltics, you will find a representative of EISO. And also, if you like, you can have a direct contact with us. So either we're represented by a local company or by a local distributor who is acting on behalf of EISO. Who we are, EISO Technologies, we call ourselves the #1 for the visualization solutions outside of the standards. So EISO as a corporation is offering a lot of standard products, especially in the office or in the media images markets. EISO Technology is the small part of the EISO corporation where we're doing everything which is outside of a standard. So we're only doing customized products and highly professional applications which need special requirements, especially for ruggedized designs, for 24/7 operations, and so on and so forth. So whatever is your requirement, come to us, talk to us. We're going to assess your product needs and your requirements, and then we're going to teach you what is possible and what not. As a small company, we are roughly right now 89 employees. We have a production area of 3,800 square meters, and we are located in the lovely southwest of Munich countryside in a small city called Geretsried. So what are our core competences? All of our products we're doing in-house. So the R&D is taking in-house, which gives you direct access to our technologies, to our IPRs, and whatever kind of requirement you have, you can talk to us. We're doing the PCB layouting internally. We are assembling the PCBs internally. We're doing all the powder coating we can do internally. We're doing the monitoring assembly internally. We're doing EMI tests internally, as well as the end-of-line test. So everything, the development, the design, manufacturing, and production is being done by us in-house at a highly secured area and modern manufacturing line. So whenever you're willing to visit us, you're highly welcome to come and to come to us. So as said, as we're doing everything 100% in-house with the development and production, we are completely flexible based on your requirements. So whatever you would like to realize on a special idea, on a crazy concept, on a demanding product requirement, come to us, talk to us, share your product needs and your requirements, what you cannot find in a standard catalog or what you cannot find in a standard distribution model. No matter the conditions they are, we are going to develop them individualized based on your requirements with regards to anything of visual technology solutions in order to fit it to your demand. This is what we're doing. And when we're doing such 100% customized product solutions, always the question is how long you're going to support us. Our business model is, and our design is that all the products, what we're developing for customers, we're trying to support them in a lifetime of 10 years in operations, plus the 10 years after life of the product is such. In addition to that, which is usually not any longer so likely the case, we are also offering the repair of the product. So if you have a product running, if it's already 5 or 6 years out in the field, and if it's get broken or damaged, we're able to repair it. So this is what our product offering is. So anything of your requirements are, normally we're starting with 6-inch monitors, and it can go up to 58-inch monitors these days. Either if they're VESA, desktop, chassis, or panel mounted, or even rack mounted monitors, come to us, talk to us, and we're trying to find a solution for you. Currently, we're serving to the markets in the public transport, in the maritime, also in the automobile vehicle displays, special vehicle displays, or even in the air traffic control arena. So everything what is also played in the security area, especially if you're in a requirement of low EMI displays or recognized displays for security surveillance, we have a product solution, and we can customize the product solution according to you in order to serve your business model at the best possible way. The other question was I'm always asked is what kind of quantity it pays off to start for a customized model. It's always depending on the customer requirement and what kind of market you're serving. But usually we're starting with a batch size of roughly 100 units. This is our small quantity volumes, and medium volume quantities regarding up to 50,000 or 75,000 monitors, what we can produce in our facility. If you need your monitors branded, customized branded, then also not a problem. We can put your logo on it, as we have the in-house powder coating, not a problem at all. ASO stands for quality, and everything what you need on a monitor, like this explosion diagram looks like with the drawing. These are the mainly 6 main characteristics what we have to follow. And what are your special requirements are, we're taking our IPRs to customize it, also in our assembly systems with our IPRs, and then we're going to realize your product. Last slide from my side. Our reputation, unfortunately, in our security market and in the air traffic control market, we're not allowed so much to talk with our customers, but maybe this slide gives you an overview of what we're doing. We're more than 50 years in the monitor development, more than 25 years in the air traffic control arena. We're the #1 in this market. We have supplied more than 4,000 monitors into the ATC market, more than 2,500 are 4K, 2K monitors, and more than 5,000 monitors are already installed in towers worldwide to safely guide the planes around the world. And we have more than 45,000 automotive displays, or more than 200,000 industrial displays deployed. And even on the railway, I think we have a good legacy. That's all my part. ASO will do what only ASO can do. This is the claim of our chairman. And with that, I'm looking forward to the Q&A session afterwards. And I wish us a lot of fruitful discussion at this stage. And thank you for your time.
So yeah, thank you also to you, Mark, very much. A very nice slogan at the end. You mentioned the Q&A session, so I also would like to use this opportunity and remind everybody that we will now have one more presenter from Germany, and afterwards we will have 10-15 minutes time for your questions. So if you have any questions, you can write them in the chat already now, then I will read them and ask them directly to the German companies, or of course, you can also do it directly. But if you have some questions or would like to get into touch, please already now think about it. Okay, so once again, Mark, thank you very much. And then we will continue and finish our first session with Patrick Geldmacher from Advances Software and Service GmbH. And he is talking about raising effectiveness and lowering effort of physical security. This also sounds very exciting. So the question is, Patrick, are you here with us?
Yes, I am.
Yes, perfect. Then please share your slides if you have any, and then you can start.
So I hope you can see this. Is that fine?
Yes,
Okay.
very good.
Perfect. So hello to everyone. My name is Patrick Geldmacher, and I work for Advances as an international sales manager, managing a few regions outside of Germany. First of all, I have to say it was really interesting to hear the presentation of Mr. Gause, as we have so much common ground with the BSF. We are also taking part on a note in the SPELL project and in the hackathon. So if anyone is interested in this, of course, we can also tell something about the project itself and what we are doing in this environment. But let's now focus on the company and the presentation. So Advances is a manufacturer of physical security management software. So we also help to, let's say, reflect what you find in your home in terms of smart home to a company environment and make life easier. Also, that somehow connects to what Mr. Gause said. And yeah, let's have a look. So every larger building nowadays has physical security equipment like cameras, intrusion detectors, fire detectors, and of course a lot more, as well as building management equipment like lighting, heating, cooling, and communication systems, and a lot more installed. And all of these field devices connect to a controller or a panel on the automation layer, where each panel type is controlled by a dedicated piece of software product each for the management of these respective device types. And the mission actually of our product WinGuard is to unify all of these separate islands to monitor and control them via one single platform and one single user interface. Having all the merged information of the security and building setup in a modern top management platform brings all the benefits like central monitoring and control, streamlined management of security incidents, generation of reports, data evaluation, and a lot more. In general, it raises the security of an environment while at the same time lowering the required effort and cost to maintain and control this. So on to the next slide. The philosophy of our product, WinGuard, is to provide the user with a totally open and manufacturer independent umbrella management platform. WinGuard is a tool that gives users the total freedom of choice for any security subsystem brand and type that they like to use today or want to deploy anytime tomorrow. So therefore, until today, we have developed more than 480 subsystem interface drivers. And this is constantly growing because this is our one of our key, let's say, key identifiers. We develop a lot of these on a daily basis to attach more and more field equipment or security equipment out there. And even better, we have realized the first version of our Advances open platform, that's how we call it, that allows third parties to develop new interface drivers on their own and even integrated functionality extensions with our SDK. WinGuard provides a uniform interface to the whole customer security landscape, making life easier for the operator. And yeah, this is due to many reasons, but these operators get guided through incoming security incidents raised in their companies or raised by the security end devices with our event workflow engine, giving them like a step-by-step instructions and supporting also by automating actions in these workflows or as a reaction to incoming incidents. Today, WinGuard is one of the leading PSIM products in Central Europe, and we have realized over 2,000 projects worldwide, so it's quite commonly spread. And yeah, of course, we have a lot of references that I don't want to talk in deep, but to name just a few ones, we have state prisons in Denmark, also connecting to Mr. Gause somehow. Volkswagen is one of our larger customers. The European Commission also is using our product. Yeah, and a lot of private companies like Zalando, Interaction, and many more. So from a security integrator perspective that we are also addressing today, why should they, or why as a security integrator should I use this platform for my customer projects? So let me explain why this is important for security integrators to offer their customers an advanced solution like WinGuard for their installations. Deploying WinGuard integrators can offer customers a whole new level of monitoring and control for their security environment. And your security installations get a wholesome approach and higher value for your customers, while WinGuard helps customers to digitalize their today mostly still very manual security operation. WinGuard raises customer security and at the same time lowers the security team effort. We also help you tying your customers closer to you by getting a better understanding of their security processes and helping the customer to optimize these with our product. You will be the first one to get informed if a customer thinks about deploying new security or building technology in their environment, which is great, of course. You will gain reputation being an integrator that introduces security installations of a higher value. So this lifts your solutions to a higher level, of course. WinGuard introduces a complete automated audit trail for security incidents, which in security environments, yeah, takes away the need for a guard book also, yeah, which I hear very often. The guard book is, yeah, something that is old and history using a product like ours. So in general, the need for security installations and the technical possibilities to help protect buildings and people are growing. So therefore, the numbers and types of different physical security equipment devices used in every installation is getting bigger and bigger. Subsequently, the requirement for a modern management platform on top, giving operators easy and full control, follows the trend. And to satisfy this requirement also in the Baltics, we are looking for customers and qualified integrators that are well established in the security industry and would like to get added value out of their security installations with a state-of-the-art management platform namely WinGuard. So yeah, that's the end of my presentation. I'm ending here with a few, let's say, impressions or screens of how this can look. It's very hard to, let's say, give a full insight and transport the, let's say, the full advantages of our product in a short session like this. So I, of course, invite everyone interested to get a personal demo with me where you can have a live insight into the product and see what this is all about. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Thank you, and see you in the Q&A session.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for this also very interesting presentation of yours. So this concludes the first part of the presentation from our German companies here today. And this leads us then to the first Q&A session. So if you have any question, maybe to the German company or also to Dr. Gause, then it's your chance to, as I said, either write it in the chat or say it here directly. If there are no questions, then I would like from my side to ask a question to Mr. Klein, even though I think he left, but I think there is somebody else who might answer the question, right?
Yes, exactly. Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Super. So yeah, I found it very interesting, the cargo business, and I think it's very also topical at the moment. So the question would be, what are the main areas or the main businesses that are using your cargo security systems? Are there any new tendencies, maybe also related to Corona? What is your experience with that?
It's a bit difficult to answer this question. So it always depends which kind of cargo. So in general, we have a lot from South America, which has some problems with drugs, as Mr. Klein already mentioned. Then we have high risk areas in Africa. So we are doing business with companies over there, or with German companies who are sending cargo to Africa. Then Corona, yes, of course, but that's an, let's say, worldwide topic due to all the delays. Yeah, I think it's not that easy to specify this question. It's more a general answer.
Okay, but yeah, it's fine. I got the idea. By the way, to the last presenter, you are still sharing your screen, your slides. If you could.
I can stop that, but I thought it's maybe not hurting. I was.
Yeah, but well, you can leave them. Okay, now I think it's better to see the speakers here. So yeah, but thank you very much. To ISO technologies, my question would be. The monitors that you showed and that you have mentioned with all the different applications that you can use on them, is there also some kind of training that you are offering, or is it kind of a prerequisite that the user or your client knows how to use it?
Usually we do offer training as well. But on the monitors, the training is quite simple. It's mainly about the concept where we are going to consult more time as the customer, spending more time rather than on the training. The training, more important from our point of view, is really to spend the time to do the need analysis and to review what is really being required from the customer side. And then the training will come later on, which is the smallest part.
Okay, understood. Thank you. And one question I also have to advances to you, Patrick. You mentioned in your presentation that there are different subsystems or products that can be connected or supported by your software. What are the main subsystems? What is it usually that are connected and used with your software?
Yeah, so actually I can show this very well, or I can explain this very well using our website. So can I share my screen still? Oh yeah, I can. Okay, great. So just to show that to the audience, actually you can find the list of the supported products on our website if you go to advances.net and then products and interfaces. Where we have, of course, a full list of all the products that are integrated with our top management platform. So in general, this is anything related to mainly physical security, but of course it can be anything that has an open protocol in general. So we integrate, of course, fire. There's a lot of fire integration, video, alarm systems, intrusion, access management platforms, but there's a lot more. Yeah, so we have actually these 480 dedicated interface drivers, which is maybe different to a lot of, let's say, other products out there that claim to have a lot of integration, but in general, many of them use open standard protocols like OPC, BACnet, that can be used to connect a lot of different systems, but in the end, it's not on the same depth or integration level as by using a proprietary protocol that is provided by manufacturers. Of course, we also have these open protocols on board, but if I'm talking about 480 integrations, I really mean this.
Okay, understood. Sounds very good and looks very good. So yeah, thank you very much. And if there are no further questions from the audience, and of course you can also ask your questions later and we can connect you to each other. This is also not a problem. But if there are no questions for now, we are almost on time. So I would say we are doing now the planned break for 15 minutes, and then we are all gathering back here at 11:35, and then we will start again on time with Essendi IT GmbH. So for now, thank you very much and see you and talk to you in 15 minutes. Okay, so welcome back, everybody. I hope you made good use of this small break. So now it's 10:35 German time, 11:35 here in the Baltics. So I would suggest to continue. There's one more question in the chat from Gert Kronbergs to Mr. Geldmacher. So I would suggest to either answer the question also directly in the chat, or maybe you could use the matchmaking sessions afterwards to discuss this question as well. So as I said, for now, let's continue with our next two German companies. Afterwards, we're gonna go in another Q&A session for these two companies, and then we also have a panel discussion, and maybe we can also use this question during the panel discussion. But for now, we will have Julian Weber from Ascendi IT GmbH, and Julian will talk about increasing IT security with automated certificate management. So Julian, welcome, and thank you very much for participating today. And then, yeah, please go ahead with your presentation.
Thank you for the introduction. I hope you can see my slides. Okay, perfect. So then thank you again for having me and for the opportunity to present our company here. My name is Julian Weber. I'm working in the sales and business development team on Ascendi IT. So Ascendi IT, who is it? Ascendi IT is an IT company, an IT development company, which is specialized in IT security and therefore in digital certificate managing, digital identities, cryptography, and so on. And there we have our own product, which I present afterwards, the Ascendi XC. But we have also other business areas in the individual software development and consulting. I show you later there also something more. We are around about 70 employees at currently 3 locations, 2 in Germany, the newest one in Switzerland in Altdorf. Here is our headquarters in Schwäbisch Hall. Schwäbisch Hall is in the near of Stuttgart. Our main business areas are the Ascendi XC, which I explain later in detail. Then we have software testing and software test management we offer. And also we have there the software development part where we specialized on integration, connecting tools, connecting application. We supported here, for example, and support bankings in the open banking, multi-banking, and mobile banking, and so on. Okay, so to the actual topic. Here, I don't think I tell you something new if I'm saying that the situation in the net is currently critical, and especially for you. Here's some numbers for Germany. We have had last year a total damage of cyber crimes in Germany with 220 billion euros. We had an increase of malware about 22% and an increase of blackmailing of factor 4. So what we are seeing here that the cybersecurity is a huge market, and also the cyber has a huge risk. What can you do about those risks? One best practice is here to use certificates, and certificates play there a big role. For example, for identification, authentication, data integrity, meaning of data signing, and also data security. A little bit more how certificates are used. I think the most common way, or the most way all of you know, is the certificates in your browser. If you go with on a website with a browser, you have the log sign right next to the URL, which symbolizes that the site is secure and it is validated by an official CA. And in this case, your browser says, okay, you can visit the site without any problem and any risk. The next thing what you can do with the certificates, if you have one for identity, a CA validates, verifies that behind this CA stands a person, a tool, company machine. And so you verify with the certificates your identity. If you have such a certificate, then you can use this, for example, for authentication, for VPN. It's becoming more and more important, or it became more and more important during the pandemic situation. Then you can use also the certificates for multi-factor authentication. Emails, I think it's upcoming currently for signature, so that your business partner is trusting you, that your email is saying, yeah, you're really the person he is contacting or talking to, and also for encryption. If you're talking about those use cases, then it is important to keep in mind that there are two really important things about certificates. The first thing is that the most important part about the certificate, it's not the certificate itself, it's the private key. And the private key, which is used for calculating also encryption and so on, must be secured in a really secure way, and also in the best way already on the target system. The next thing what you need to keep in mind, if you have here a lot of certificates, that certificates are expiring. If you're talking about public certificates from a public trusted CA, then we are talking here about 3 months validity in the future. So you have to renew such a certificate 4 times a year, for example, your own website. So, and to handle all this amount of certificates, therefore we developed the SNDXC, securing your digital communication. With the SNDXC, we understand us as a platform in between your infrastructure and the CAs. You can manage, monitor, and also deploy all the certificates. So we are more or less a transport layer for the certificates. What we can do is automate the processes for requesting the certificates, monitor compliances, that all the right specifications for the certificates are made, monitor the certificates itself in case of expiring, and also then the infrastructure, sit between the infrastructures, so like on the left side, the CAs, but also on the right side to deploy the certificates on, for example, your mobile devices, in a simple case, just on the web server, your email gateway, webcams, IoT devices, and so on. So what are, in keywords, the most important things, the most benefits with our tool? So with the SNDXC, you gain structure and transparency. If I talk often to our customers, then they say, oh, I don't know all of my certificates, and I only know them if they are expiring and an application is failing. So there is one of the most benefits. Then to keep your secrets really secure, it's meaning that you can store the certificates, if you like, on an HSM, really secure storage, or you can create the certificates where they need. So that means that you really create the certificate for your domain on the web server, and over the SNDXC only the certificate is handled and also later saved on the web server itself. You can automate your processes. If you talk to your responsible guys for your certificates, they will say, okay, I need per certificate 30 minutes to exchange it manually, and that's quite fast. In an official study, they are talking about up to 6 hours per certificate, which you need to exchange it, request it, put it back on the server and activate it. All these steps can be fully automated within the SNDXC. What you gain further is then to minimize the risk of outage of operations. You can also switch between CAs really easily, or if a security failure happens, a key was compromised, then you just renew the certificate with the new data and so on. And the most important thing what you gain, you build up trust for your own company, but also for your contacts to your business partners and so on, so that you're saying, I have certificates, I validated, I'm fully verified by a CA, and I can handle all this trust. My last slide is about our business partners. Just a small overview. Not all of them are there here. For example, the CAs like SwissSign and DigiCert, like the HSM company Securitas, and IoT devices from Interseed and Access. Also in our business, it's complicated and not often allowed to address our customers with their logos, but I can name some of them. For example, Lidl and Schwarz as a global trading company, a big Switzerland railway company is trusting us, official administration in Germany, a Belgian bank, and so on. So that's all from me. Thank you for your attention.
Yeah, thank you very much, Julian. And I really have to praise or to applaud all the speakers. You're all perfectly in time. So I don't have so much to do. So this is very, of course, very nice for me. So the next speaker and the last speaker from Germany for today will be Mark Schieder from Dracoon GmbH, and he will talk about secure data exchange with any device. So Mark, also a big welcome to you. And we are very interested now to hear your presentation.
Thank you very much, Dominic. You can see my screen very well, I hope. Yeah.
Yes, looks good.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mark Schieder. I'm CEO and Managing Director of Dracoon. Dracoon is a market-leading company here in Germany, bringing data sovereignty back to the world. It's our mission and vision. It's your key to digital freedom. And a lot of cyber risks and things have been mentioned already so far in other meetings and presentations. But if you would like to talk about digital sovereignty, we all know that we need to rely on trustworthy and secure infrastructures, else we would lose our competitiveness and future viability in Europe and also in your countries. And finally, it's about data security and data sovereignty, because these two things are important pillars of a democracy which needs to be protected and exported. So we really believe that to be able to protect data is a key success factor to enable a data-driven economy. And we'd like to offer a central building block to securely accelerate and protect digitalization processes of a smart society. So where do we come from, or what are our challenges? If you deal with secure data exchange, secure data information gathering, connecting AI, whatever, to your software stack, to your solution, you will face the challenges of cloud, hybrid, multi-cloud solutions. You will need to be able future-proof end-to-end encryption technology, which is also quantum-proof. You'd like to automate and orchestrate the whole system. You'd like to deal with security and business workflows. You have the challenge to establish some kind of a real cool user experience using your product, and you need to be compliant to all these GDPR regulations and testations, like GDPR, CCPA, or CPAR. And finally, okay, if you do it on premises, you need to deal with all these cyber risks like ransomware, phishing, malware, and you need to establish a secure answer to all these risks. And you will face a challenge to have cost control and also run into the problem of high development costs. So where's Dracoon coming from? We entered the market as a secure ad hoc transfer, including end-to-end encryption like Dropbox and Secure. We enhanced to a real cool enterprise file sync and share solution with deeper enterprise functionality like offline functionality, workflow integration. And today we are able to secure the DACH market with powerful enterprise file service capabilities like built-in IDA signature solution. We are able to seal data in a cloud, in a blockchain. So that means if you're going to scan or upload data to Dracoon, the information, the hash is sealed in a blockchain. And if you're going to download a file from our cloud, you will be able to verify the integrity of the file. And it's also possible to connect any AI or deep learning, machine learning solution directly to Dracoon to do some kind of predictive maintenance or to analyze data or whatever is your use case about. And if you'd like to stay in control with Microsoft Office, you'd like to be able to work with Office 365, with Outlook, or with Word, Excel, PowerPoint, but you don't want to lose your intellectual property flowing to the USA or wherever, you are able to work with Dracoon, and all this data is going to be stored in Dracoon, and you are in control of these files. And something magically is going to happen because all this functionality has been created as an API first strategy. That means you're able to integrate our whole solution directly into your software stack. And the verticals we are dealing with are going to integrate the platform of Dracoon directly into their third-party software. All this specialized software for the public sector, for finance, for healthcare. So that means that digital imaging is directly uploaded to Dracoon. A use case, patient, doctor are able to talk to each other using our mobile apps, doing a remote diagnosis, analysis, or finance data. We are the main partner of DATEV here in Germany. All these tax, legal, law players are dealing or are sharing information using Dracoon and DATEV, and also manufacturing and defense, which is not mentioned here, is using Dracoon for secure file exchange. If you're interested in, there are some 2 links in the slide. You may use Concealment for your information, or I will answer any questions later on. And talking about iSecurity, what does it mean? Because you may believe me, but we have chosen the way to testify and certify all these things we have implemented into Dracoon. So we are working closely with the Federal Office of Information Security in Germany, the BSI, and also working closely with the government. So the whole cloud solution has been tested and certified. We are fulfilling all GDPR requirements here in Germany. We are ready for confidential and secret information, aiming for Verschlusssache here for the defense sector. We have integrated a real end-to-end encryption solution directly into the platform. So you may develop your own solution, integrate our SDK, and you have an encrypted technology directly developed so far. And all our employees are background screened, are security checked, so we are allowed to work with public institutions and defense. So what does it mean from go-to-market perspective? We made it 5 times in a row, so there's only Microsoft in front of us, and we are aiming to hold this position also for next year, and developing further USPs for Dracoon. The German state is our solution, every publicly owned data center, so we are protecting police, inner security services here in Germany. They are using our solution in their public data centers, just to mention it here. And our verticals are finance and banking. That's up to the Deutsche Bundesbank, who is protected by Dracoon. We are protecting more than 300 banks here in Germany, which are using our solution powered by Fiducia, which is the Volks- and Raiffeisenbank here in Germany. A lot of insurances. We have been deployed to a lot of hospitals and clinics, more than 300. So all this healthcare information is going to be exchanged using Dracoon, like Helios, Sana, and also pharma industry. We have been deployed to Daimler, Skoda, in the manufacturing automotive sector. And as mentioned before, our solution has been deployed to every state-owned data center. So we have a close cooperation with DATEV, as mentioned before. So we are focused on tax, legal, law, and have a deep integration with such a system. And also we are going to protect defense supply industry and the German army also. So that's about 5 core verticals with more than 300 customers who are protected by Dracoon. So the whole solution is a cloud solution and a hybrid cloud solution. You are able to deploy components on premises if you'd like to do so. So maybe you'd like to have the storage on premises. So that means you are able to connect any object storage system directly to Dracoon, or any identity provider you'd like to connect to Dracoon. So you have control over identities, which is really important. We have a lot of partnerships which enhance the functionality of Dracoon, like MFA or passwordless login, powered really by German Swiss hardware, FIDO2, web out and mentioned here. And the whole system is powered by a digital supply chain. So it's easy to get a demo account or to sell solution. In 10 minutes, you're able to run a full GDPR compliant data exchange solution. Yes, as mentioned, we have also some kind of close cooperation with Microsoft, because Microsoft is not allowed to sell their solution directly to high secure areas here in Germany. So we have developed a Microsoft Outlook plugin. You are able to encrypt and decrypt data directly using Outlook. We have developed some kind of a Teams plugin, so you stay in control using Teams. You are able to work with Office, Excel, PowerPoint directly on any device you'd like to do so. You are able to have a virtual printer installed. All these files are converted to a PDF. The PDF information is sealed in the blockchain and uploaded to Dracoon. And we have also native clients for Windows and Mac and iOS and Android. So you're able to use any file worldwide in any manner you'd like to do. And you stay in control of your information, of your intellectual property, and that's the vision and mission of Dracoon. And if you have any questions, me, myself, and I, and Roland is also in the call today, we are keen on answering any question. Thank you very much.
Perfect, Mark. Thank you very much. And also very nice to see you in the rising star bracket there, and the list of clients that you already have also looks very impressive. So we come now to the Q&A session, and Mark, I would suggest with two Marks Schieder here. So I think one is your colleague, right? Now it's Roland Franze. Okay, very good. I thought I was crazy there for a bit. No, okay. So before we start, and I would suggest to start with Dracoon, because you're now here anyway. But I would like to mention one more thing, especially to our Baltic audience here. That we had two more actually German companies. One is Tasta and the other is MD Connect Line. Unfortunately, they had to cancel on a short notice. But what we can do, we can also provide their company information, their presentations afterwards. It's just that they had to cancel due to unforeseen reasons. Okay, so are there any questions to Dracoon? Otherwise, I would like to follow up on the pool of companies or institutions that you're already collaborating with. What companies or institutions in the Baltic states you think might be interested in your products?
It's a question for Dracoon, or?
Yes, for you.
Okay. Yeah, we're interested in cybersecurity resellers or institutions. Also, defense and public IT security could be very interesting for Dracoon. Yeah, and if you're dealing with cybersecurity solutions like camera systems, whatever, and you like to store information in a very controlled manner or connect any artificial intelligence to our system, we would be keen on getting the contact. Yeah.
Okay, and there's actually one more question also from the audience, from Girds. So the question is Dracoon, or are the Dracoon solutions quantum proof?
We are safe for more than 20 years is the correct answer. We are involved in research and development projects, analyzing algorithms for the future, which will be then future-proof. For now, we are fulfilling the BSI requirements regarding cryptography. Yeah.
Okay, so you're working on this set that you will be also quantum proof in the future. Okay, so thank you very much. And also one question to Sandy. So you also talked about your software, and the question is, what are the possibilities to adapt your software to the customer needs, or in how far you can also provide the necessary interfaces there?
We already have ritual interfaces, so we are setting there on the standards like CMC or CMP, which you have to use for certificate requests, but also is there a ritual REST API, so that there is the first possibility or the most common possibility to connect also between the tools. And also we are more than happy if a customer comes to us. For example, we developed an interface for ServiceNow. It's most common currently, upcoming tool, which most customers use to build up their workflows. So if any customer comes there with a new interface and wants to have it, we are more than happy to build it up.
Okay, very good, very customer friendly. Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen, also for this round of presentations. Let's conclude this and move on to our last, I would say, official part or part with presentations and discussions in this round. And for this, we have a panel discussion prepared actually on the current challenges of IT and cybersecurity. And for this panel, we have 3 panelists, 3 speakers, this time from the Baltic states, 1 from Estonia, 1 from Latvia, and 1, of course, also from Lithuania. So from Estonia, we have Merle Maigre. She's a senior cybersecurity expert from the e-Government Academy. From Latvia, we have Kalis Podins, who is also a cybersecurity expert from CERT LV. And we have Paulo Svanagas from Lithuania, who is a business development manager from Nord Security. And in order to kick this panel discussion off, I would suggest that you will present yourself very shortly, 1-2 minutes, where you're coming from or what we are dealing with right now, and then we can start with the questions. And of course, ladies first. Merle, why don't you start?
Thank you very much. So indeed, I thought on my end, as my approach to cybersecurity comes from a strategic angle, whereas I work both in the government sector, most recently as the director of the NATO Cooperative Cyber Defense Center of Excellence, then in the private sector of Estonia, and now in a non-profit. Having looked things at from the strategic angle, I thought I'd share a few thoughts on how to raise public awareness, because I think it makes sense also as a follow-on to the previous panel. The better people and companies are aware of cyber risks, the better clients they can become of various German companies. So I think although cybersecurity is one of the most important challenges faced by governments as well as the private sector today, public awareness still remains rather limited. Almost everybody has heard of cybersecurity and its importance. However, the behavior of citizens does not always reflect a high level of awareness. Yet cybersecurity is essential for individuals and for public and non-public organizations, yet observing security practices often proves to be really difficult. So based on an experience that the e-Governance Academy gained from conducting a study to ENISA, the EU cybersecurity agency, I would like to share a few thoughts on lessons learned on what proved to be successful. The experience more specifically was gathered over the course of May to July last year, as we interviewed about 20 EU member states. We collected information and evaluated different cybersecurity awareness practices and processes in these EU member states. And altogether, there are 6 lessons learned. Do we have like 5 minutes to go through this real quickly? I hope so. So first lesson is that the national cybersecurity strategy with a clear vision about awareness is important. The clearer the vision and the easier it is for key stakeholders to ensure a comprehensive, consistent and coherent approach. Cybersecurity awareness is going to be successful when the corresponding vision is spelled out in the national cybersecurity strategy. This helps to build context. It also helps to make clear what is needed to be accomplished, the so to say objectives, as well as what is it about and to whom it applies, the scope. As an example, there are successful examples in the Czech National Cybersecurity Strategy 4.0, focusing on a resilient society, and the Finnish cybersecurity strategy that focuses on the need to increase public cybersecurity experience. The second lesson learned here is about the importance of having a clear ownership of the awareness raising activities. someone who is coordinating all these issues within a country. A number of our interviewed member states, that is 11 out of the 20, confirmed that they find it useful if there is a single agency within the country coordinating national cybersecurity activities. It is also helpful, therefore, when this coordinating agency is then including others, nominating stakeholders, and overall sort of setting the pace for the activities related to cybersecurity awareness raising. So that's the second lesson learned. Third point is related with resources. Cybersecurity awareness raising activities are successful if there are sufficient resources dedicated to the activities. This is always, of course, a challenge. Nevertheless, it is important, and it's also important to maintain that more generally, it is relevant to keep in mind that resources that are defined should be defined beyond the terms of mere money, that is the budget. They also include people, materials, as well as the relationships and partnerships and continued political commitment and leadership, also from the private sector, required for successful execution. Some successful examples there include Croatia, that is including the EU funds for these types of activities, or the Czech Republic that has dedicated a regular annual budget. Fourth lesson learned is cooperation with media. Media plays a key role in democracies around the world, acting as the watchdog of the state and informing citizens about the decisions that affect their everyday life. The media, therefore, also plays an important role in raising public awareness of cybersecurity as an amplifier of public messages and as a reminder of the importance of good cybersecurity practices. Some useful examples there, for example, in Belgium, there is the Center for Cybersecurity Belgium, CCB, which has compiled a document called ABC for CCB, with 42 most asked questions and answers regularly disseminated to journalists writing about cybersecurity. Also in Finland, for example, the public-private partnership initiative called Mediapooli published a book titled Editor's Encryption Guide, which is a cyber textbook for the journalists that includes some useful guidance for journalists of how to protect their sources and how to go about cybersecurity practices. Fifth point, I think, which is very important, is about regular public assessments of cybersecurity trends and challenges. In the interview process of this study, we collected information about whether EU member states regularly provide their citizens with cybersecurity situational awareness data and information, such as assessments, analysis, reports of the threat environment. And we realized that it is really important, these publications help citizens to realize how the malicious use of, so to say, bits and bytes in cyber attacks can have a spillover effects on their everyday life. Traditionally, the cybersecurity threat information products are really technical in nature, and the national certs do them sometimes even daily, but they are only meant for the technical audience. However, it is important that such information is also prepared for non-technical audiences, such as the general public or managers of organizations. Therefore, it is important that the national cyber authorities seek to address the wider public as their audience as well. And last but not least, there is the it is important to study through polls and national and surveys the behavioral practices of people, studying better how people are thinking about cybersecurity helps to identify the necessary target audiences in designing the cybersecurity threats to them. that is where the competent national cybersecurity authorities or companies can and should work together with the national statistics agencies so that to better learn and measure the cybersecurity behavior. It provides metrics about cybersecurity behavioral aspects, and this is really crucial for successful awareness raising. People's attitudes, people's knowledge can help to better direct for choosing measures for the protection of digital environment. So in a nutshell, these are the main lessons learned. Conscious of time, I'll be happy to follow up any of this in more detail, but I would stop here with the initial remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Merle. Very interesting, because I think it's a very important aspect of cybersecurity. We will definitely come back to this a little bit later. But for now, Carlos, please go ahead. Maybe also present yourself quickly and whatever you would like to add from your side.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Okay. So hello, everybody. I'm Carlos Poddish. I'm with the National Cert of Latvia. I will be 15 years experience in cybersecurity. I have done many things, starting from reverse engineering and re-weaponizing APT malware up to writing, being a co-author of the National Cybersecurity Strategy. So have some wide experience, and especially with the position in CERT, having a wide experience of how things break and how things don't work out as expected. So I think the biggest challenge I see, especially from the public sector point of view, is that cybersecurity is very hard to measure, and also then very hard to sell, since it is something that you can't easily measure. You can't easily detect like what is good from what is bad. Then the second problem factor I see is a compliance, that fairly often things are done not to increase the security, but to have a check in a checkbox. And then the resources section, so that it's quite hard, especially for public sector, to understand that it's the people behind the boxes who are the real value and who bring security in the institution. It's not the magic boxes themselves. That's about it. I'm looking forward to the discussion time.
Okay, thank you, Carlos, to you as well. And Paulus, please introduce yourself as well.
Yeah, hi, Dominic. Thanks firstly for having me here. Thank you for the invitation. Yeah, my name is short intro for myself. I'm Paulo Svanagas, the business development manager for Nord Security here in Germany. So I'm basically actually connecting Germany and Lithuania together. My main task is right now to grow and localize the German market, as well as help people from Lithuania strive forward to grow the Nord Security products, which we have used by users worldwide. And yeah, that's basically it.
Okay, thank you. So thank you very much to all of you for your introduction. And some of you have already touched upon this, but my first question would be, where do you see the biggest challenge at the moment in your countries? Also considering, Merle, what you said, that cybersecurity awareness is very important. But if we look at it from two angles, I mean, on a private, from the private side, it's very important that I know how to use my computer. I know which websites to use and which maybe to avoid. But on the other hand, we, as the German Baltic Chamber, last week also had a conference in Germany. It was our German Baltic Digital Summit. And one of the topics was also e-government and the related cybersecurity risks. So the question is, because especially Estonia is very well advanced in the e-government topic, Latvia and Lithuania as well, especially in comparison with Germany. But in Germany, the topic is still that there's too little trust in technology, in the whole cybersecurity aspects, especially if, for example, if it comes to digital elections, what is the case in Estonia already for many years. So the question really is, on the one hand, what are the biggest risks, but also how do you combine these two aspects, that maybe in Estonia, the cybersecurity awareness is on the one hand very high, but on the other hand, people still, or maybe because of this, trust also very much in digital services. So long question, complex question, Merle, pick out what you would like from it.
Well, thank you. Thank you for raising this point, because it really is crucial. I would say that the philosophy here in Estonia has been that cybersecurity needs to be the other side of the digitalization coin, that you cannot develop digital services without providing them in a secure manner, so that people could trust that their data and the services that they are using are secure. So cybersecurity really is the other side of the coin of the digital security. And this is something I suppose that has been ingrained in the Estonian approach to digital security. One of the reasons for this perhaps being that we received a fairly early wake-up call already in 2007. Already then, Estonia considered itself rather advanced, digitally advanced state, yet the back then fairly simplistic DDoS attacks in the context of tense relations between Estonia and Russia over a removal of a Second World War monument created that situation where Estonia was under heavy DDoS attack and found itself cybersecurity-wise very challenged. So a couple of lessons learned since then. First, the government was very transparent about the risks. Second, the public and the private sectors really worked together to guarantee the security of the country. And thirdly, coming out of that crisis really helped to increase people's trust that cybersecurity challenges are something that can be overcome. So trying to package this shortly, I think it's important starting from the political will, starting from the sort of like top-down narrative and understanding of the importance of cybersecurity as really inherent part of digitalization. Thus, that can lead to the fact that the government and the leadership at the private sector also prioritizes the issue, therefore finds resources, both money, people, and leadership attention into the issue. And I think growingly, when at the e-governance academy we interact with emerging economies, it's a challenge, but it would be necessary to find a way to shape the narrative in understanding that cybersecurity is not necessarily something that demands only costs, but rather to look at cybersecurity maybe as a gardening, where you invest into the cybersecurity and it gives you back a more secure, more better, trustful digital services.
Sounds very good, and especially how your government reacted in 2007 with transparency, which is, I would also say, one of the 6 lessons learned from the cybersecurity awareness that you mentioned earlier, that you need to give regular assessment and provide information to the public. So this probably helped a lot, and transparency probably is very much important in this area. So thank you very much, Merle. Carlos, how would you assess the current state or the situation or level of awareness of the Latvian people, and what are maybe future plans, what are the tendencies, and what are the associated risks with the either low or maybe also very high level of awareness? What is the situation in general in Latvia from your experience?
Well, the situation is that awareness is rising. The thing is that there are different levels of awareness. I would say that okay, we right now because of the Russia-Ukraine war, we have a lot of crude DDoS attacks against Latvian infrastructure targets. So that's apparently in the news, and people talk about it, but that's not the whole story to awareness. So we need to raise it above and beyond that, and understand that there are more advanced threats that are harder to deal than some hacktivists using some commercially available DDoS tools. And in response to what Merlo said earlier, I think another challenge, what I see is that, well, it's a global garden. It's a global market for cyber talent, and for like less developed economies, it's a hard thing to understand and take part in the global labor market. And I think that will be the largest challenge, especially in the next few years. And I don't know, economic situation like inflation, cost of living rising. So I would say that the talent side is really a looming issue. Thank you.
Understood. Thank you very much, Carlos. Paulus, now to you. You're working for Nord Security, and one of your, or if not the well-known or best-known product is NordVPN, which also helps against cybersecurity. But also, Paulus, from your perspective, because I think this is also very much interesting for our German companies who are participating here today. So you are a Lithuanian, but you are working right now in Germany.
That's right.
What is your experience, also maybe on a personal level, or from your professional perspective, when you talk maybe to German companies? Are there differences that you experience between Lithuania or the Baltics on one hand and Germany on the other hand? And also maybe tell us a little bit about NordVPN and how this maybe could also be used as a global tool, because Carlos also just mentioned it. It's a very global issue. You can start attacks from everywhere in the world. How do you consider this global aspect in this whole situation?
Yeah, thank you, Dominic. So firstly, to start, I mean, like NordVPN is our flagship product. It's the world's most trusted B2C online security and privacy solution, daily being used by more than 15 million users and consumers. So in the B2C area, and yeah, comparing Germany, I mean, like I spent the last 10 years living in Berlin, so I actually have like a pretty good know-how of the consumer side and the B2B business side actually in Germany, and can compare that to Lithuania as well. So I would say Lithuania is actually, from my perspective, on a personal level, is much more aware of cybersecurity risks due to our geopolitical situation. So, having all of those countries on the side and having like some clear actions of, cybersecurity attacks, disinformation, and so on, people are actually see those acts being made on a daily basis and are aware of actually what kind of problems we have right now, especially seeing the change, in the market in the last 2 months. But as well as looking at the German side, for example, the Germans are also, very secure, very data oriented, and looking, at the data and the privacy, really taking it really seriously and taking into consideration what can happen if some of the cyber breaches and data breaches happen. So companies are actually, we see the trend that companies are actually investing much more into cybersecurity, especially after the latest events of BSI, the National Security Agency, IT or Cybersecurity Agency in Germany, giving some warnings that this is actually a real threat and happening in the last time, actually at the highest rate. Yeah.
Okay, but do you think, for example, Germany is doing enough in this respect? Because what we heard from Merle earlier, that there are these 6 lessons and provide data. Also, polls and surveys about behavioral practices are very important to raise the level of awareness. How do you assess the governmental side from Germany? Are they doing enough? Because you're living as a Lithuanian 15 years in Germany. I live now 15 years as a German in Lithuania. So we both have both perspectives, and I definitely can say that the Germans are much more skeptical regarding everything that is somehow digital related. Do you think this is a problem of the people, of the companies, of the government that need to raise the awareness? Where do you see the problem here?
Yeah, it's a good aspect actually to distinguish between the private and the governmental sector actually in Germany. So the private sector has, more resources, more agility to react fast, adapt fast, invest more and do more, and in terms of that. And the governmental sector, as you know, Dominic, in Germany is much lower. I mean, like it's a huge apparatus in here, and it takes much more time to align the processes, to be sure, 100% sure that this is the right way to go. And those projects are being implemented not, for like, it's not a 1 year's project. It's like for 30, maybe 50 years in front. So that's why Germany is much slower on the digitalization aspect in terms, like compared to Lithuania. And even those simple things as we see, for example, like using, cash and credit card payments. So Lithuania is, you don't need any cash being in Lithuania. You can pay anything from 10 to 15 cents, with your card. And in the case, if you're going to Germany, then you will not be able to do that with your credit card. Cash payments are still up in there. So even these simple things are a high topic. And for example, as you know, maybe the chamber court in Berlin was hacked a year ago due to a phishing mail, actually. So it was actually hacked and breached. The whole data was actually, the whole emails were stolen from the chamber court, and it wasn't able to recover for a whole year. So this is the speed actually of the German government. So of course it's not enough what they're doing right now, and they should take those both aspects, digitalization as well as cybersecurity, much more seriously. And I hope that this year, especially the last events will, put more focus and more effort to that, and they will improve, of course.
Yes, also I believe that you are correct on this. So time is running out, but I still would like to ask you, all 3 of you, one more question, but maybe you can limit yourselves to, I don't know, 2 or 3 sentences. So from your perspective, what do you think? What are the most important next steps that need to be done in order to make the digital infrastructure of your countries, of Germany, of other countries, more resilient in case of a crisis, in case of an attack? What is, so to say, now on the agenda that needs to be done right now? Merle, maybe we can start with you again.
If I try to wrap it up in a couple of sentences, I would say 3 things. First is the public-private partnership, that is the business sector, the industry sharing more incident information with the government. This is really crucial, I think, all the more in the new heightened alert context that we have in cybersecurity in the context of the ongoing war in Ukraine. That's one. Second, I think that's important to coordinate and share more information among the EU member states and perhaps NATO allies as well. So to reach out, that's at the national level, to reach and share information so that to build a joint threat picture better. And thirdly, I think it's important to invest into the capacity building of partners in the neighborhood. Ukraine is a good example of how it really pays off to invest early on into the capacity. But I think we have Moldova, Georgia, the Western Balkans, and other Eastern Partnership members, for example, whose capacity really also requires investment, because at the end of the day, by helping them, we help ourselves.
Yep, absolutely. And you touched again some very important aspects on a European or even worldwide cooperation. Unfortunately, really, time is running out, but I think we could talk for 2 more hours at least, also on these aspects that we have not touched yet. But yeah, thank you very much, Merle, for your insights. Carlos, what do you think from your side needs to be done?
I think one should learn from the military. The things that they are good at is lessons learned, lessons identified. This whole process of learning from your own mistakes, learning from the mistakes of others, also sharing the success stories within the public sector, understand what worked, why that worked, what didn't work, why that didn't work, so that to be able to adapt faster and at least not to repeat the same mistakes again.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you, Carlos, as well. And Paulus, your take.
I would say, I mean, like the issue and risk potential, I mean, like taking into account all of those potential cyber threats, cyber security threats. I mean, like either it's botnet attacks, phishing, ransomware, 5G, AI, all of them need to be taken into consideration. And I would say, I mean, like my main message would be for the B2B sector, you know, for the companies, for the businesses. I mean, like governance, you actually could take an example of that as well, is to see cybersecurity within the organization as a whole, and not as a business case where you expect a clear ROI or something. So this should be, you know, this should be a subject actually which has to be handled well, without taking account, I mean, like some of the ROIs or some of the returns actually on this, and to be prepared for all possible cyber threats within the organization and to be able to react as fast as possible to close the breach.
Mm-hmm. Some very nice closing words. So thank you very much, all 3 of you. I think it was a very interesting panel discussion with good insights. So once again, thank you very much. And this actually now concludes the last part of this program. So we will, but please don't go away. Please stay tuned. We have maybe for some of you even the most important part. But before we come to that, I would like to use the opportunity to once again thank all the speakers, all the participants here. And I hope that you have had good possibilities to get to know some new technologies or solutions for your organization or your company, or maybe even for your country. So please feel free to contact each other or to contact us as the AHK, and we will make sure that you can connect to each other. Also, thank you very much to the organizers and to my team, so especially to Jurate and to Sabrina from Econan, who you heard in the morning. It was a lot of work, you know, to prepare this kind of conference. So thank you very much, also Jurate, Sabrina, for this, and of course, once again, also to the ministry, to Forbansen, who made this conference possible in the first place. So now, I mentioned it already a couple of times. Now you will have the possibility to get even more in touch with each other. For this, we will create certain breakout rooms, and the breakout session we will, by coincidence or just mix you together. So you will have the opportunity to speak to each other. I think we will do this 3 times. You will find the link in the chat. This will be organized also by Sabrina. So if you have also questions, later on, you can ask her. Sabrina, I'm not sure if you would like to say a couple of words now. Otherwise, you can find the link in the chat. Just click on it, and then you will randomly be connected with one of the participants. So once again, thank you much from my side, and enjoy the matchmaking session. And yeah, I hope that it was also interesting for you. Thank you very much, and see you soon, hopefully. Bye-bye.
Hello, hello. Ah.